Typhoon Dolphin is passing over the Okinawa region. There's a cooldown ahead all the way from the northern plains through the Midwest and out through New England. The West is experiencing air quality issues, red flag warnings, heat advisories. It's a mess out here. They could definitely use some rainfall. Unfortunately, most of that precipitation is going to be focused out east, at least over the next week. And some models are pointing towards potential tropical activity in the Atlantic. It's Friday, August 7th, 2026. Let's get into the weather updates. All right, I do want to start with this impressive beast of a storm, Typhoon Dolphin. You can see it here once again moving over the Okinawa region. And if I'm pronouncing that wrong, I'm sorry, I'm doing my best. It's a strong category 2 right now, but if you remember, it actually was a category 5 not too long ago. It's weakened, but it's also grown in size. These tropical storm force winds are expanding very, very far out from the center of this storm. Now, a storm increasing in size doesn't just expand the winds out. A lot of times it enhances the storm surge as well, much farther out from the center of circulation. And again, you can see this is a very large storm, so I'm sure there's a lot of surge to the north here, and then some surge on the back end coming around here. Now, moving forward, you can see Typhoon Dolphin is headed directly for Wenzhou, China. It is expected to weaken down to a category 1 typhoon, but like I said, those tropical storm force and potentially hurricane force winds are going to be expanding very far out from the center, and there's definitely going to be a lot of storm surge with this system and a lot of rainfall. I would say if Dolphin does weaken down to a strong tropical storm or category 1 as it moves into Wenzhou, they're really going to be paying attention to the flooding issue with the surge and the rainfall, but the wind can definitely have effects, especially when moving into a major city. I also want to mention, look at the weird wobbles happening with this storm. I mean, the center of circulation is just all over the place. This can happen when a storm is weakening or when it's trying to go through an eye replacement cycle where you have these crazy wobbles up and down, but this may move the path much further north, maybe much further south if we continue to see these weird wobbles. Right now, it looks like we may see that track shift a little bit further north. We do have a tropical storm out to the east-northeast of Typhoon Dolphin. This is Tropical Storm Chanham. Who knows if I'm saying that right, but this is aimed at northern Japan. A little bit of time to figure out what this is going to do. Luckily, not expect it to strengthen too much. Probably a mix of some shear. You can see some of the shear that's moving in up here, but also cooler waters the further north you go. There's a cool down on the way, and this isn't the 8 to 14 day outlook. This is the 6 to 10 day outlook. From Montana all the way down through Nebraska and Iowa, out through portions of the Midwest, maybe through portions of the northern mid-Atlantic, and then up through New England. Cooler temperatures are expected. Still going to be very hot down in the southeast though. Again, this right here is the 6 to 10 day outlook. So this is our August 12th through August 16th time frame. If we push out a little bit further to the 8 to 14 day Climate Prediction Center outlook, now we're looking at August 14th to August 20th. Still not too bad up in the northern tier states, especially up in the northeast, but the southeast is looking really hot through August. By the way, kind of a new setup if you didn't notice. Right below me, we have the forecast for 45 major cities across the US and the current conditions as I'm recording this. If your city's not below me and you think it should be, let me know in the comments and I'll think about adding another 5 and making it 50 cities. I'm not going to have space for every city in the country, but I know I'm missing some pretty big cities. All right, so what is bringing these cooler temperatures in and what is keeping it warm in the southeast? Well, we're going to compare some models. First, let's look at the GFS. You can see right now we kind of have a zonal flow, meaning we just kind of have our jet stream flowing from the west to the east here, so a westerly flow. But as we get into Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, we start to get a little bit of a dip in the jet stream. And what does that do? Well, the cold air is typically above this 500 millibar jet streak, and the warm air is typically below it. So now this cold air is going to get a chance to dive down across portions of the northern plains, upper Midwest, Great Lakes region, and New England. Even just a little dip like that, it helps a lot. But we're not seeing that jet stream bring any relief down to the southeast. A little bit of relief potentially out to the west, northwest. You can't really see a jet streak here, but you can kind of see our isobars diving down, so it's not going to be as terrible out west. But once again, the southeast, we've kind of got a ridge set up down here, so a high pressure system that's just not going to allow any really cool air in the short term. Let's take a look at the Euro. So here's the European model as we get into Tuesday, Wednesday. It agrees. We've got a dip in the jet stream, so some cooler conditions for the northern plains out through New England, potentially portions of the northwest. But then we keep moving forward, and I actually think the Euro shows this a little bit better, but there's our high pressure in the southeast. So once again, that's going to actually potentially keep you guys a little bit drier in the short term or in the short to medium term and keep you a little bit warmer as well. Nimby, take us over to weather alerts. You're appreciated. All sorts of issues out here, as you can see. Red flag warnings. We have air quality alerts. We've got heat advisories, extreme heat warnings, fire weather watch up there across portions of Montana and northern Wyoming, dense fog advisories, some coastal flood advisories, but the main thing is the heat and the fire. I do want to take a look at the 925 millibar jet. This is our winds just above the surface, and we do have kind of a nice flow right off the coast here. This isn't necessarily going to help with the fire, so we could still see some windy conditions, especially across portions of Washington, Oregon, and northwestern California, or really just the west coast of California here as we move through this weekend. You can see this consistent flow of the 925 millibar jet just off the west coast. Taking a look at the Euro and expanding this out a little bit further, you can actually see a high pressure just off the coast here, which is continuing to barrage the coast with these winds. There is a break as we get late into the weekend, it looks like, so hopefully that'll help. Now, there's not expected to be a ton of precipitation. That's the issue. Once again, just a quick glance at the national blend, and we're pushed out over a week now, and unfortunately no rainfall in sight. Speaking of rainfall though, pushing out only about a week, take a look at this from western PA through Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, Kentucky, Tennessee, West Virginia. Who would I forget? I feel like I forgot someone in there. Anyways, you get the picture. Widespread, potentially 2 to 4 inches of rainfall, maybe widespread 1 to 3 with isolated areas, 4, 5, even 6+ inches of rainfall. Look at West Virginia on the national blend getting absolutely slammed. Take a look at the indicator here, almost 7 inches potentially. We'll see about that for West Virginia. Some good rainfall though across portions of the Central Plains and the Rockies, especially in the desert Southwest as well, where you're not used to seeing this much rainfall. Could cause some flooding issues, especially if we're seeing, like the NBM suggests, 5 to 6+ inches of rainfall across portions of eastern and southeastern Arizona. We're gonna have to pay close attention to that. Even central Arizona, the national blend's giving the chance for 3 inches of rainfall, which is a lot for that region. The ground there just isn't as prepared for that much rainfall in a short period of time. We'll quickly take a look at what's happening here on the Rufus. You can actually see some good moisture moving into the southeastern US here as we move into tomorrow afternoon. Georgia, South Carolina could see some good moisture. Some storms potentially moving across portions of the eastern Midwest, mid-Atlantic, New England region. But overall, across the country, it's pretty calm until we get into potentially Monday, Tuesday, when we see some strong storms moving across portions of the Midwest here. We do have the chance for some severe weather today. I haven't really brought up severe weather in this video because we just have a slight today, marginal day 2, marginal day 3. Not much to talk about, but a little bit of a wind and hail risk out there across portions of the mid-Atlantic. Also a 5% SIG 1 risk across portions of northern Texas, western Oklahoma, the panhandle of Oklahoma, and then northeastern east central New Mexico. So not a very high chance of damaging wind, but still the potential for damaging wind out here. Just a quick update for my folks in the mid-Atlantic. Looks like some strong storms could fire off around 4 or 5 p.m. So maybe get home from work a little bit earlier today if you work a 9 to 5. Most people I know, I worked in Philly for a while, they're leaving around 2 or 3 p.m. on a Friday. But there you go. Around 4 to 5 p.m. some storms spark up across central PA, potentially western Maryland, western upstate New York, moving east through 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock, and then they begin to dissipate, potentially moving off the coast. So what does the Atlantic have in store for us? Well, take a look down near the Cape Verde Islands. We've got a ton of convection flying off the African coast. This is what we would call a tropical wave, and you do start to see more of these as we push into the middle towards the end of hurricane season. And we do have a bunch of models suggesting that we could get tropical development out here, either in the MDR or in the tropical Atlantic. Closer to home, not much going on, but as you can see, we do have a little blob of convection right here moving up to the northwest that could bring some moisture, like I said, into the southeast, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, portions of Florida potentially. As you can see, the European AI ensembles are still pretty bullish about tropical development in the tropical Atlantic or developing out of the MDR. So it's something to watch. We really haven't seen anything out here all season. Not surprising. We're in a, well, super El Nino. I was going to say strong El Nino, but this El Nino could absolutely break records. That's something I think I'll talk about in the next video. Just to give you an idea of what's going on though, this right here would be a strong El Nino. And obviously we are surpassing that, and we may even move up towards 2.5 to 3 degrees above Celsius over there in the Nino 3.4 region. So yes, the Pacific Ocean is on fire. I really appreciate you guys watching this video. I'll try to put out more long form forecasts like this instead of all my shorts and reels. Obviously, I've got a whole new setup. I'm excited to get back to streaming again. We know the severe weather is going to pick up in fall. We're pushing deeper into hurricane season, and we're going to start doing some winter forecasting not too long from now. If you like this type of content, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I upload a new video or go live. You can also join my free weather Discord. The link is directly below. And believe me, it's awesome. You got to go check it out. Once again, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next video.